Westplex 107.1. It is BS in the morning, 6:20 on a Monday morning. It is me, Shelley, and she is Brad, correct?
That is correct.
See, I did get something right this morning. Man, right off the bat.
You always get things right, Brad.
Man, we got a gazillion things to talk about this morning.
We do.
Holy cow.
How was your weekend?
It was interesting. It was not as productive I wish it could have been, although Shelley didn't had an unproductive weekend because she was like in extended birthday mode all weekend, right?
I definitely had an excellent birthday weekend.
Yeah, so you were where were you yesterday? Boom Boom Place or what?
The Boom Room.
What's the Boom Boom Room?
It's a burlesque show.
And you were there to do what?
Tiffany took me there. It's an all-female burlesque show, and it was just so much fun. It was like taking a step back in time.
Isn't that it? Isn't that illegal now?
What?
To have
burlesque?
an all-woman show.
My goodness.
There should be some men in that show, don't you think? I mean, you can't have sexually exclusive events anymore. It has to be all integrated now.
So anyway, it was a lovely venue, and it was a little small. They're actually getting a new facility, and it's going to be one of the largest burlesque shows in the United States.
Are they down on the Landing? Is that where they're at?
No, they're on Locust and 14th.
Why do I think they were on the Landing? Were they ever on the Landing?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Well. So that was fun.
It was a blast. I want when I find out when I want to grow up. When I grow up, I want to be a burlesque dancer. I'm actually going to take classes.
So you did that yesterday?
Yes.
Is that legal to do on a Sunday in St. Louis?
Yes.
Oh.
Well, it's not a strip show.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, there's a lot of laws in the city of St. Louis. You just, you can't.
Yes, there is. But they can do that on a Sunday, and anytime they only do it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings.
Well, that's no fun. What if I wanted to have burlesque on Thursday night?
Well, then you would be the only patron, and that's just too bad.
Oh, okay. So,
but it was lovely. Everything was just. I just had the best birthday weekend. I got sung to on Saturday night. I went to the Babes Ought to Build for Habitat for Humanity, the LBB Women Build.
Hold on a minute.
And they sang to me. The whole place sang to me. It was so much fun.
Now, hold on a minute. Babes on a Build. So in other words, you're talking all women, so no guys can be on this particular Habitat for Humanity build?
I don't know the answer to this question. It's actually a women's build for Habitat for Humanity. There's several people. Bernie Dudenhofer has a
So guys aren't allowed?
I don't know.
Interesting. Boy,
no, guys are usually the one that build these houses.
I see a pattern here.
Habitat for Humanity is really kind of cool because the people that get the houses, they have to put in a lot of sweat equity.
I see a pattern emerging here that Shelley is involved with all these discriminatory groups that, they're women only. I don't know how to deal with that. I thought that's so 90s. You know what I mean?
I don't care. I really don't. I like them. They're my happy place. And, at this point, at 56 years old, I really...
So if guys got involved in those organizations, they wouldn't be your happy place anymore?
The whole burlesque thing, I don't know. I don't know the whole dynamics. There's always a subculture. And, I don't know. But I don't know about this women's build either for Team Bob. I just don't know. I think they are. There were men working at the tending bar and picking up. There were men working.
So what you're telling me is
men.
the men have the subservient jobs and the women have the high profile jobs. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, isn't that the way it should be?
I find it interesting that, Shelley and I go back and forth about this all the time, especially over LBB. It's to the point where if I decided to have, like, the big dudes of the Westplex Club, the BDW, and it was, hey, guys only. There would be women going, you can't do that. You got to have women in there. But yet women can have organizations that are exclusively women, and that's okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say about that.
I don't think that's fair. I really don't.
Oh,
I don't think
put your mangina in your pocket, Brad. It's fine.
I don't think that's fair.
There's a lot of things that aren't fair in this world. Nobody ever said life was going to be fair.
What would Elizabeth Warren say?
I, again, don't care.
What would Joe Biden say? He'd probably say, hey, reelect Donald Trump. Did you hear that over the weekend when he was here in St. Louis?
No.
Oh, my God. It was like he said, reelect Donald Trump. Those words came out of his mouth.
Joe Biden?
Yes, Joe Biden said, re-elect Donald Trump at a campaign speech. I believe he was here in St. Louis. And to the point
so
where,
that's why there's national attention on Biden being in here in St. Louis.
Well, tomorrow because it's the another one. It's not a Super Tuesday. There's Missouri
it's
and
a primary.
Missouri, and is in, I don't know if it's 5 or 6 other states. Tomorrow is the day. And by the way, speaking of women, they talk about the women are out of the presidential thing for the Democrats. Tulsi Gabbard, my Tulsi's still in, and they ignore her.
I know she is, and you know who else is going to vote for her?
Who's that?
James Strong.
Oh, that's right. I did see that. Yes. Well, but once again, I mean, how can you ignore a woman who is in the United States House of Representatives, is a current Army member? She's a major, has been deployed to the Middle East, and is, to me, just a very intelligent, attractive. I mean, this lady's got going on.
So what difference does it make if she's attractive? Intelligence, yes, you need that to be the president, but you don't need to be attractive.
Oh, yeah, you do. And
why do you always call that out?
She's a Hindu, too. I mean, how many, we're always talking about, hey, with Obama.
So she's a double other. Again, why does attractiveness even fall into that category?
But see, like with Obama, it was like, we got our first black president. And then in 2016, we need to elect Hillary, our first woman president. Hey, we need to elect...
You're not listening. You're not answering my question.
We need to elect Tulsi Gabbard, who will be our first Hindu/woman of color/Army major/super foxy president. That's what we need.
Okay, so again, why does her... what if she was completely unfortunate looking? Would that still detour you?
Then she would be our first woman of color /Hindu/Army major /unfortunate looking president.
Yes. So again, why does what she looks like even make a bearing on the way that you feel?
I just said it didn't because, I'd still elect her. So we need, and the LBB should be behind her. The LBB should come out and say, we endorse Tulsi Gabbard. Because when she is the woman president, she'll get rid of all the men in the White House. It'll be all women in the White House. I wouldn't want that. She'll make all the House of Representatives and the Senate, if they're men, they have to stay outside in the parking lot. Women, the only ones can come into the House and the Senate chambers. All the heads of all the departments around the country would be women. All the guys would be subservient to them. That's the America we need.
I agree, but I don't think that every man should be. I do think that they should be included.
No, they should all be.
Oh, absolutely.
No, we should all be second-class citizens. Matter of fact, I think that she would pass a bill. She'd make an executive order that only women can vote.
Whatever, Brad. Oh, look, it's 6:29.
You don't like all my ideas about. I mean, I'm very mainstream when it comes to politics. I mean, you think Bernie? Bernie's got some ideas, man. I got the best ideas.
There's nothing about you mainstream.
It's 6:29. Westplex 107.1. Yes, Havana. It's where there is no coronavirus. None whatsoever. So Bernie Sanders and his wife are going to go there and stay.
Is that true?
No, I just made it up.
So that was the start of the BS for the week.
I'm telling you, I heard a doctor over the weekend. Okay, I heard a doctor over the weekend. This guy's on NPR, so he can't be a phony baloney because if he was on Fox, he'd be phony. He's probably like a doctor of English or something like that, a PhD doctor. But anyway, this was a real MD, and he made the comment that the news media is so out of whack on this deal. He said every single day, imagine it to be a 9/11 where there are like 3,000 people every day that die from smoking-related illnesses. Every day in the United States, 3,000 people die from smoking-related illnesses, okay? And
let's not even forget the flu.
Well, no, this is just smoking. Smoking-related illnesses.
Yeah,
every day, 3,000 people. And talked about, do you see that as one of the headlines in the news? Today, 3,000 people died from smoking-related diseases, from coronary diseases.
I'm thinking, and this is notorious for what the media does, if something is going on in the White House or something, that's huge, the media focuses on something and sensitizes it and sends it out. And that's so we don't look at what's really going on.
Because I learned a valuable lesson from a very, 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 very good news director years ago. And he taught me the most important lesson I think I've learned in a long time. He said that in the news business, everybody watches everybody else, and nobody else wants to be outdone on a story. So if, ABC has a story that, there were left-handed monkeys who had taken control of all the cabs in New York City, even though it was a made-up story, that NBC and CBS would, we got to do the story on the left-handed monkeys. And the idea being is that a true news leader doesn't care what the competition is doing. They care about what they think is important journalistically and important as far as information to the public. And once again, it's to the point where it's like every single news organization is like, here, and even to the point where I got this email this morning, okay? I'm a Southwest Airlines customer. Used to be a big customer. I hardly fly anymore, maybe once or twice a year. That's it. I get this letter email this morning, from the Senior Vice President. His name is Ryan Green, SVP, Chief Marketing Officer. He's a Senior Vice President. It's a whole email talking about how they clean their aircraft. Aircraft cleaning. We spend between 6 and 7 hours cleaning each aircraft every night. And as of March 4th, 2020, we've enhanced our overnight cleaning procedures. Typically, we use an EPA-approved hospital-grade disinfectant in the laboratories and an interior cleaner in the cabin. Now, we're expanding the use of hospital-grade disinfectant throughout the aircraft, and it will be used in the cabin, on elements of the flight deck, and in laboratory. This goes beyond the standard CDC guidelines. Give me a break.
That's awesome. But what they neglected to say is that they filter the cabin, because every time that I have flown and I had that air on me, I've never been so sick in my life, and twice I've ended up in the hospital.
Okay. Also, here, this is Ryan Green going on with his email.
Oh,
also,
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No. You just brought something up. This is his next paragraph. Also, we equip each of our aircraft with a HEPA, high efficiency particulate air filter, which filters out recirculated air on board each plane to remove airborne particles. HEPA filters are also used in hospitals to provide patients with clean air. To learn more,
well, they need to change them out a little bit more than once a year.
To learn more about our enhanced aircraft cleaning procedures, visit our blog for a detailed overview along with the video and photos of the process. Now, I have it on authority. Okay, there's big news about the Boeing 737. Have you heard about this?
No.
The 737 MAX?
Oh, that's the one that they took out of the air, correct?
Right, that's the one that's no longer flying. Big news about this, and once again, I have a journalism degree, and I scoured I was out I won't tell you that I was in the, state of Washington over the weekend, at where they make the 737s. I won't tell you that I was there, because I won't tell you that. But what I will tell you is...
Because you weren't.
No, what I will tell you is that they have determined that the 737 MAXs, for some crazy reason, they kill the coronavirus. And and not only when you fly in the airplane are you disinfected by the 737 MAX, but when the 737 MAX flies over a city, if there are 10 or more 737 MAXes that fly over a city, the coronavirus is completely obliterated. Gone. Just gone.
You're so
It's gone.
I called BS
and the crazy,
because they're not in the air anymore.
Well, that's the problem. The problem is that the government, this is all a government, this is this is like black ops kind of stuff.
Oh, my goodness. You're just saying that.
The
Stop
737 MAXs that were in the air, the coronavirus would be gone, and everybody who flew on them. I mean, you could take all the people who are infected, take those people off the cruise ship, put them in a 737 MAX, fly them up around, fly them here to Kansas City and back, just do a touch and go in Kansas City, turn around, come back, let them out, cured. That's what I'm telling you.
Did you hear that there is a confirmed case of the coronavirus in Ladue?
Yes, and property values have gone down to the point where there's people. Matter of fact, this morning, if you look at Zillow, you can buy a house in Ladue for $20,000. Any house in Ladue, $20,000.
Anyway, so moving on.
Yeah, any house. Yeah.
Evidently,
Swimming
this
pool.
is what I saw on Facebook. Evidently, the confirmed case of the little girl, her father took her sister to the father-daughter dance.
Right. Well, and once again, the houses in Ladue, if they have a swimming pool, they're only $15,000 because the coronavirus is more prevalent in swimming pools in Ladue. Do you know
You're
that?
not going to take anything I say seriously, are you?
I read this stupid story this morning about how I don't know if it's the same person. She rode in an Amtrak train, so they've taken that Amtrak train out of service, and I'm going like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. I mean,
and it's just going to get worse.
Jeez Louise. And you don't believe me about the 737 MAXs killing the coronavirus, do you? That's the problem. If those planes were in the air, we wouldn't have this problem right now. It's all a big conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy by the Europeans because they want us to ride in their Airbus aircraft, which by the way, if you ride in an Airbus aircraft, you're 20 times more prevalent to get the coronavirus if you ride in an Airbus.
Okay, look, it's 6:44.
You think I'm making this up? What do you mean? I got it.
I'm calling BS on you.
I got a journalism degree.
Oh, in BTW, I totally won the bet. I want my $50 back.
You lost the bet because I ate at Zaxby's on Friday night.
Yeah, but you didn't know Cosmo Nick, who is one of the top DJs in Como. I actually saw him on Saturday night, and I sent you a little video and asked him, is there a Zaxby's in Columbia? And he's like, well, there used to be.
Oops, she just disappeared.
The only thing I told you was Zaxby's was closed. I didn't say which one. I didn't even comment that there was more than one. And you sent me back all this fluff, but I was right. Zaxby's did close. It's just the one.
Cosmo Nick met me on Friday evening after he got off his shift doing the after he got off his shift doing the radiothon, which I'll talk about later, and he took me to both of the Zaxby's in Columbia. We had an order of chicken at both Zaxby's in Columbia. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you did because, quite frankly, he was actually at Saturday night at the Team Bob Habitat for Humanity music bingo.
Right, and he was dressed like a woman because that's the only way he could allow in.
He wasn't dressed like a woman. There were men there. Just stop it.
He was. You gave me the video. He's got long hair and he's got makeup on.
He was a rock and roll dude.
No, he had long hair. He was a makeup. He was dressed as a woman. That was the only way you could get into that event.
Dude, no woman would go out looking like that.
646. Westplex 107.1, Dance Monkey. Shelley, you know what? I heard over the weekend, I heard her interviewed on a countdown show on Y98.
Does she sound like that?
Actually, she sounds normal. She's got an Australian accent. She doesn't sound like that. She sounds, like a normal person. She sings sort of weird, but
I think she sounds like Betty Boop.
She explained the song.
Okay.
She explained the song in that it's about her, but not about dancing. It's about singing. that when she was, because the whole thing was they talked about how she was a busker and she made money by, busking, singing like on the street corner and people giving you tips and things like that. And she said that everybody got to the point where they would go, oh, sing me this, sing me that. And she says that the lyrics are what people asked her about, but yet it wasn't about dancing, it was singing. So she thought it wouldn't be as good a song and she essentially said she called herself a singing monkey. So she essentially just redid the lyrics to make it like a dancing monkey. So in other words, the idea being she was sort of
using poetic license.
Yeah, she was equating herself to being like a monkey where people, ooh, do this for me. Hey, monkey, do this, do that. And all they were doing was they were requesting her to sing songs. So she got frustrated by the fact that, people would just say, can you sing this? Can you sing that? Can you sing this?
Were they compensating her?
Oh, yeah. Well, some of them were. That is, some people do it. Probably the minority of people give her some money. And the majority of people did not. And matter of fact, she also said that what she's determined is that if you play her song 4 times in a row backwards, it kills all the coronavirus in a room where this particular music is being
Brad,
played.
Stop it.
True. Matter of fact, and she came out and said that what people don't realize about her is she has a PhD in bioengineering, and she said that
blah blah blah.
The 737 Maxes did kill the coronavirus, the COVID-19. And matter of fact, what happened is if you fly, especially if you fly them over a populated area at 1,000 feet or less above ground level, AGL, it just wipes out the coronavirus for years.
Okay. Hey, did you know that your video got blocked?
I know. Can you believe that?
Well, tell everybody about it because I noticed it.
Shelley's. This is actually sort of funny in that a video that I did on Friday, I guess, excuse me, the video went up, I don't know, 10 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
About noon, I got an email from YouTube saying that the Shelley birthday video had been blocked by YouTube. Yes.
So was it the song "Today Is Your Birthday"?
No. What you're going to be interesting is that they said that there were certain combination of words within that video that were prevalent to making the coronavirus more widespread.
Oh, Brad.
That's what they said. They said that.
Snooze, Brad.
Seriously. Oh, Shelley, come on. We got to stay up on top of this thing. The coronavirus is...
we don't.
The coronavirus
We've
is
already
everything.
talked about it.
It's everything.
We talked about it all morning, and it's almost 7 o'clock.
It's everything. It's everything. It's everything in the world today. I mean, that
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
I mean, do you realize that when you drive to work this morning, and if you get, if you're on the interstate, you're okay, but if you get off one of the streets and when the red light comes on, that red light actually will put coronavirus into your car? Do you realize that?
Okay. Tell me something that's going to make me laugh because this isn't working for me.
Oh, no, this is serious stuff, Shelley.
I know it's serious stuff. That's why I'm saying, tell me something that's going to laugh.
We can't just treat
this is not working for me because you're full of BS.
We just can't treat this like it's like some crazy kind of weird stuff. I mean,
well, that's exactly what you're doing, Brad.
Well, here's what happened. Joe Biden was in town. His motorcade got stopped at a traffic light in downtown St. Louis. There were 4 red lights. Each one of those red lights put that coronavirus into his car, and then he got on stage and he said, "Re-elect Donald Trump." See what it did to him?
Uh-huh. Look, it's 6:58.
Westplex 107.1. It is 7:03. That is correct time. If you are not sure what your clock is set to, 7:03. As a matter of fact, it's now 7:04 exactly right now. This BS in the morning. I am Shelley. She is Brad. Oh my God, more stuff on this deal with the girl who was in Italy and then went to O'Hare and then took the Amtrak to St. Louis. You know what I'm talking about? This big story.
I know a little bit about it. Go on.
Okay, well, they've determined that the story is she was in Italy, and apparently she was exposed to coronavirus, and She came back to O'Hare, and then they took the train, Amtrak, into St. Louis. And then she went to father-daughter dance at one of the ritzy high schools.
She didn't go. Her sister did.
Well, but see, what you don't understand is that they've now determined that if you are on a train and the train gets upwards of 30 miles an hour, that the rotational friction against the steel rails accelerates the coronavirus. So all the crops in Illinois that are near that Amtrak line between St. Louis and Chicago, all the corn and all the wheat, because it's, mainly farm ground between, once you get north of Edwardsville, all the way up into Chicago, all those crops will have to be destroyed because they're all contaminated with coronavirus now. Hello?
I'm here.
You don't believe me?
$50.
It's true.
I do not believe you.
It's true. Oh, and the only cure is what they're going to do is they're going to get special permission from the FAA to get the 737 Maxes up, and they're going to fly them back and forth along the railroad tracks at about 500 feet above the railroad tracks, because the 737 Maxes have been known to cure the coronavirus, and they're just going to fly them back and forth between Chicago and St. Louis for 24 hours. So
you are so full of crap, Brad. I'm not lying.
That airspace will be restricted. And and the farmers are already been told that what'll start to happen is, as those 737 Maxes, also that what'll happen is that the 737 Maxes will also create the cows and the dairy farms between St. Louis and Chicago to produce more milk. So the price.
How was your weekend this weekend?
The price of milk will plummet drastically. And
oh my goodness, it was a beautiful weekend this weekend, wasn't it? Did you get out and take advantage of it?
And milkshakes at McDonald's will be only 10 cents. And if you buy the green version, it's actually only 15 cents. And by the way, did you see that gas prices are way down because of coronavirus? That the matter of fact, that gas, when you go to today to QT, gas will be about 20 cents. It'll be like 19.9 a gallon, 19 cents and 9 cents a gallon because of the coronavirus. Because they've determined that if they don't sell the gasoline at 19 cents or less, that the coronavirus will accelerate and will take over the earth. Hello?
I'm here.
You don't believe anything I'm saying. Why not?
That's because it's all big fat lies.
No.
And you're full of crap. And I'm not going to play.
I have a journalism degree. Everything that comes out of my mouth is the truth.
Yeah, everything that... And you sit there and you get on me for getting most of my news from Facebook.
Right. But what you didn't see on Facebook, this is a big story. This is on the NBC Nightly News last night. I watched it. They've figured out that the only other way besides flying the 737 Maxes close to the ground, and also if you're in one of the 737 Maxes, they found that Bigfoot cures the coronavirus. So they found Bigfoot, and actually he was in St. Peter's. He was in Columbia at two of the Zaxby's restaurants eating, and they found
There's only one Zaxby's in Columbia now.
And they took him, and they're taking him around the country to all the hospitals where people are quarantined with the coronavirus. And all he does is he looks at you, and his eyes get really red, like, he does one of those, and boom, you're cured.
Oh, look, it's 7:08.
You don't believe anything I'm saying. What is wrong with you?
That's because you're being ridiculous.
I'm not. I'm right on top of this thing. Yes, you are. I'm on top of this story, man. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. Something.
Oh God! I'm
a big fat steaming pile of BS.
The stock market's supposed to, I'll never understand the stock market. The stock market's supposed to be like they're already talking about. I don't
understand it either.
Well, the futures, in other words, these futures when the stock market opens this morning, it's supposed to be terrible because gasoline, because now there's a price war going on with Saudi Arabia and Russia, and here's the crazy thing. Okay. Gasoline, oil is down to like $30 a barrel, which it hasn't been like in years and years and years and years and years and years. Okay? So if that's the case, then how come the gas prices went up over the weekend? Okay? Figure that one out. I never figure, to the point where I used to know a guy, Randy Bluestone, who left us much too early. I would always talk to him about gas prices. And he's the guy that told me, literally, He would go whatever at his stations, whatever Quick Trip was selling gasoline for, that's what he'd sell gasoline for. And they'd change the price all the time. Quick Trip was, $2.19.9. He'd be $2.19.9. And he'd admit to me, I lose 10 cents in every gallon I pump. I go, what? He goes, yeah. He says, gas cost me $2.29.9, and I'm selling it for $2.19.9. I go, so you're losing 10 cents a gallon. So I looked out. There was a guy out there, pumping like his truck. I said, well, that guy just put 20 gallons in his tank. And Randy said, yeah, I just lost $2. I just lost $2 in that guy. I go, well, then why do you do it? Well, the guy's going to buy a car wash, and he's going to come inside and buy a soda and a bag of chips and a pack of cigarettes, and that's how I make my money. I always thought that was fascinating. The gas is like, in the Quick Trip's the same way. I don't think they're making money in the gas. They're making money on you buying all, me buying the donuts and stuff like that,
Yes, I do know. And speaking of QT,
yeah?
You would be so proud of me, Brad.
Yeah, because you know what? Did you realize that all the QTs in St. Louis are going to shut down? They're all going to be Zaxby's?
Okay, so you would be so proud of me. Let me go back to me. So we were going down to the Boom Boom Room. No, that's a lie. It was the day before. It was on Saturday. And I quit smoking. I do vape, but I quit smoking. Okay? My vape pen was out of battery. So I was faced with two options. Well, three really, but I only considered two. One was to go buy a pack of cigarettes at QT, or the other one was to get a plug-in that would match the port on the vape pen. It's called a Nord. And I chose that one instead of buying a pack of cigarettes.
Man, I'm so proud of you.
Are you proud of me? I'm so proud of me. That was a big deal.
And did you realize that when you bought that plug-in, that those plug-ins are 99.9% efficient in killing the coronavirus? Do you know that?
I didn't, but thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the things you don't really know about stuff like that.
The things you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
And if you want to know something, this isn't probably your venue to find it at.
Yeah. Oh, true. Well, did you also know that if you walk through Chesterfield Mall, that if you walk around the mall 3 times on a Monday, which I think is today, you will never get the coronavirus?
Yeah, Chesterfield Mall. I'm so sad about that.
They're going to knock it down.
I know they are.
Yeah, they're going to knock it down.
And I wonder what the tenants, because they do still have some tenants. I wonder what they're going to do.
I don't know. Buy out their leases, I guess, something like that. They're going to make, the whole big thing now is like the lifestyle places. They're going to make it like Streets of St. Charles. That's what it's going to be.
And that's going to be lovely.
Yeah, well, I mean, would you want to live there?
I probably would.
You would? You'd want to live like Streets of St. Charles?
I thought about it.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I'm sorry?
Why? You have a nice house.
Like living in
the
city.
Who wants to live in the city?
But not really living in the city.
Who wants to live in the city?
Because it's, I don't know, it's like downtown St. Louis,
where the
when you get down there, you kind of dread going down to downtown St. Louis. But once you get there, you just sit there and it just envelops you in the coolness, the architecture, the businesses, the things to look at, the things to do. It just kind of you get this rush. And I think that you would get that at on Beale Street as well.
I got it yesterday. I go downtown and, those electric wires are hanging out of that
I know, that
traffic
was awesome.
Light, and we need to see, that's the difference between the city and St. Charles County. You'd never see that in St. Charles County, those electrical wires hanging out of the bottom of a traffic light because we have extreme electrical. Caleb would be on.
Yes, they are amazing.
Caleb would be taking care of that.
Huh?
Go ahead. No, what now?
What'd you say?
I said Caleb would be taking care of that. We'd never have that in St. Charles County. Never.
That's true.
Yeah.
Nope, he would be on the scene for sure.
Right.
He actually is coming in to record new commercials today.
Really?
And he's going to take me to lunch.
Wow. He wouldn't take me to lunch.
That's because you're not there recording his commercials.
Well, you'd think he'd be nice to me and take me out to lunch.
He is nice to you. Do you want to go to lunch?
I take pictures of his trucks all the time and put them on Facebook, wherever,
Well, come to lunch with us today.
Well, I can't.
Why is that?
I'm quarantined.
Huh. Whatever. 7:14.
Westplex 107.1. A couple of experts who look at pop music say that is the perfect pop song. And I don't think she's had much since then. Good old, you know who that is, don't you?
I really don't.
It's Joe Biden's daughter.
No, it's not.
It is. It's Joe Biden's daughter. Yeah.
Oh, stop it. I'm putting you on ignore.
What? I'm giving you the scoop this morning. Everything comes out of my mouth this morning is 99.9999% truth.
Well, everything that comes out of my mouth are pearls. What do you think about that?
I think that you should go down to Shane Company and, make some necklaces for him. Friday was quite a day. Brad gets a video blocked. It was our video of our show on Friday, and I literally got blocked by YouTube. I've never had a video blocked before. It was because of the fact that they have this new algorithm called the BS algorithm, and Shelley was so full of BS on Friday that it blocked the video. Can you believe that?
No, I don't, because that's not what it was about at all.
It was about her birthday, and it got blocked. And true story, I've never had a video blocked before. And when I got for the video, I thought to myself, this is a phishing video. And then I read it, and I go like, oh my God, they really blocked. And I looked, the video got blocked. So I re-edited the video, and it's back up again. So
if you took out all my BS, basically it was you talking all for the entire 2 hours.
Yeah, because everything I say is true. Everything I say is true. Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard, vote for her tomorrow. Ladies,
yes. I actually might do that.
All you LBB ladies. Once again, I think it's terrible what they're doing to Tulsi. You read the things they're talking about. The women are out of. By the way, did you see Saturday Night Live with Elizabeth Warren and the gal? What's the name of the lady who does Elizabeth Warren on Saturday Night Live? God, she's got her down.
I don't even know who the players are on Saturday Night Live anymore.
Oh, she's got her perfect. And she was on the show with her. As a matter of fact, there is a really funny TikTok of Elizabeth Warren. I can't remember is it Kate McKinnon? Is that who does it?
I don't
does
know.
The Elizabeth Warren on Saturday Night Live? Where there's an actual TikTok of them doing it together, and they're dressed the same, and they have the same glasses on. They have the same hair and the whole bit. It's really funny. It's really funny. And you know what's sad about it is, now that Elizabeth Warren is out of it, she's like being a normal person now. She's not like being weird, She's like, hey, she's having fun, but instead she was like, I heard somebody say that the problem with Elizabeth Warren was, she's a law professor at Harvard, and that a guy said this. He said, it was reminded me of one of my English teachers in high school that I didn't like because she was always yelling at us.
I'm going back to Elizabeth Warren. Sorry.
Yeah?
It's Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon. Well, that's what I said. I said Kate McKinnon. Yeah.
I really wasn't listening to you. I was trying to find it myself.
I know you never listen
because
to
you've
me.
Been so full of it this morning that
I've never said.
I really didn't know if I could believe you or not.
I'm telling you. And by the way, it's also been proven that if you go to get Schnucks Cola, their new cola, that cures coronavirus. And if you've had some, you go get a 24 pack. It's 2 12 packs, and you go in the shower and you just open up the cans. You just pour the Schnucks Cola over your head. Coronavirus goes away, gone, just like that.
Oh my goodness!
You don't believe a word I'm saying this morning.
Not one single word.
Tulsi Gabbard has figured out the cure for coronavirus, and she knows what it is.
Don't do that to her.
And she is going.
You're going to sit there and spew out your BS, and then it's going to go back on her.
Oh no! And she said that if you elect her, she'll cure everybody.
It comes to this is what bothers me. The movie, it was with Will Smith and the dog.
Will Smith and the dog. Okay. Was that Bagger Jones, whatever it was?
No. This is about I can't remember. Is it I Am?
Will I Am? He's in Black Eyed Peas.
No. So do you what? You've seen The Matrix, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then all the diseases and everything are cured, but we sat there and brought up all this autonomous equipment, and we marveled at our own magnificence. And this movie with Will Smith, basically he's left alone, and everybody is dead around him or turned into zombies because of this miraculous cure that they inoculated everybody with. And what it did was it turned them into zombies, except for Will Smith.
Right.
Have you seen the movie?
Oh yeah. 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 That's
what I'm afraid of. I mean, there's a lot of poetic license taken in the movies.
So you're saying that they're going to come up with a new vaccine, and the only people that are not going to be turned into zombies are going to be the Christian Scientists, because they don't do the vaccines.
They don't inoculate.
Well, they don't take medicine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if JWs do either.
I don't know.
Anyway, that really does. It is really a concern of mine.
You don't. So you're an anti-vaxxer, is what you're saying?
No, that's not true. I believe in vaccinating your kids.
Yeah.
With the tried and true things that we were vaccinated with. You remember standing in the hallway and them going down with a gun? Boo-choo, 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 boo-choo. Do you remember that?
Say that again.
I'm not going to do it.
110. Let me think. I gotta mark that down. Flag that. 1.
Stop it.
I'm going back and edited that out. Pachook, 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 pachook.
Well, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that gun? It was like a high-speed staple gun.
Yeah, right. They got everybody with that.
They don't get that nowadays.
No, because you know why, don't you?
Probably because the doctors figured out that they could make money giving vaccinations as opposed to having the Department of Health do it.
No, somebody would complain about it. I can't believe you vaccinated my kid in front of other people. That was a private thing. You shouldn't have vaccinated him so other people can see him get vaccinated.
Whatever.
You know how the
people just need to relax. They really do.
By the way, can I tell you something?
I would love for you to tell me something. What are you going to tell me?
I'm going to tell you something that I would only admit, since there's only you and me listening.
That's not true, but go on.
It's just you and me, okay?
Okay.
My car that I bought from my son a year and a half ago for $500, okay, which had the power brakes screwed up in it, and it got worse and worse and worse to the point where I went down to Jefferson City on Friday and almost didn't make it back because first off, A, the brakes were not working right, but B, it had a huge vacuum leak, and if you were a car head, you know what that's all about. And the computer in the car tried to take over and tried to compensate for the vacuum leak, and to the point where the car kept dying. Anyway, Saturday morning, I replaced the vacuum booster in my car, okay? And it got to be very complicated to pull the whole front end apart and pull the master cylinder out and pull the vacuum booster out and get underneath the dashboard. And God, I hate working underneath the dashboards. Anyway, put the new vacuum booster in, got it all back together, bled the brakes, and I bought this goofy little kit which didn't work right. And when you bleed the brakes, you have to push down the pedal. You have to keep the pedal down, and it's a two-man job. So I actually cut a 2x4 and did this too, pumped the brakes, and then I stuck the 2x4 in on the brake pedal down to the floor against the front seat, and then I would go, close the valve on the corresponding, wheel. I know that's boring to people, but anyway, it took me about 4 hours to do this project.
I bet it did.
My car runs so good, and the brakes actually work, and I have to tell you, I have this tremendous feeling of satisfaction when I drive my car now, and I can actually stop at stop signs. I don't have to do St. Louis stops because my brakes don't work, and it runs great too, and I love it. And I am
so proud of you that you did that, and it was the perfect weather for it.
Oh, it was great, and it's to the point where it's one of those things that I'm thinking to myself. And of course, I have people that say, "You work in your own car? Why do you do that?" There's nothing like fixing something and then driving it and having it work just right. You know what I mean?
It's almost like mowing the grass.
It's like
instant gratification there.
It's almost like me, dusting off my pilot's license and going to Washington and flying one of those 737 Maxes and flying it over St. Louis and, and throttling up that engine and killing all the coronavirus. It just gives me that feeling that like, oh my God, I just accomplished something.
You had to turn a lovely story into a bunch of BS. Bravo, Brad.
No, well, you're right. I didn't fix my car, but I did cure the coronavirus with the 737
No,
Max.
you did fix your car, and that makes me so happy.
Oh, my brakes work again. I can actually stop.
And what were you thinking about driving down to Jefferson City with no brakes?
Well,
What in your little Brad mind thought that was going to be okay?
well, I had brakes. They just didn't work real well.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're in Jefferson City. You don't have to worry about that.
Why?
They don't have stop signs in Jefferson City. Because you know why? Stop signs were proven to promote coronavirus, so they took them all out.
Oh, my God. Oh, look, it's 7:28.
Westplex 107.1. I like that song. New from Selena Gomez. You like that, Shelley?
I do. It was actually kind of lovely.
Yeah, it's a song all about Shelley. Rare.
I am rare.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Two things. First off, I want to give you a great example of great radio people, and then I want to give you an example of horrible radio people, okay?
Do we really want that?
Yes. Great radio people are the Zimmers in Columbia. I was in Jefferson City, Columbia on Friday, had some business to take care of, which is actually sort of a funny story because I was dealing with the Department of Revenue, and I get down there, and they sent me the wrong letter. They screwed up, and I made a trip to Jefferson City essentially for nothing because they made a mistake. That's a whole nother story. But I came back, and I came through Columbia and listened to KTXY. Y107.
Is that where Cosmo Nick is?
Yeah, he's on in the mornings.
Yeah.
And they were doing a radiothon for the Children's Hospital in Columbia. And what was interesting was not only were they doing it on Y107, all of these Zimmer radio stations, I think there's like 5 or 6 of them in Columbia and Jefferson City, were all doing a live remote at the same place, raising money. They were not playing any music. They were raising money for a children's hospital in Jefferson City. And I thought to myself, these are true broadcasters. These are people who are helping the community. And guess who was on in the afternoons? Cosmo Nick. He was on, he'd done his morning show, and he was actually live in the afternoon. I actually texted him, and I go, what are you doing on in the afternoon? And he essentially said, hey, it's the radiothon. We're working double shifts. So he was like, putting in extra time to raise money for the city or for the hospital. I think it's like the version of Children's Hospital in Columbia. I think it's actually part of the University of Missouri Hospital. But
Cardinal Glennon?
No, it wasn't Cardinal Glennon. I can't remember. I think it's actually like a division of because Mizzou has their own hospital there. And I believe this was like a division of that, the Children's Hospital of Mizzou or whatever it was. And talking about how they'd raised, $3 million. Wow.
Oh, really?
Yes. And the Zimmers, the hour I was listening to between 5 and 6, if you made a donation, the Zimmers personally tripled it. Okay? So if you made...
Wow, that's some good souls.
Yes. If you made a $50 donation, the Zimmers put in $100. So in other words, your 50 turned into 150. So those are good radio people. Now, over the weekend, I read an article about Bob Pittman and his number 2 guy.
I don't know who that is.
Bob Pittman is the guy who runs iHeartRadio. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were in front of a bunch of stock market people telling about how they're going to make so much money with iHeartRadio because you know what they're going to do?
No.
They're going to fire everybody locally, and they're going to redo all their real estate, their leases, and they're going to move into really, 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 really tiny studios. They're going to.
iHeart said that?
I'm telling you. I'll send you the article. Talks about how they're going to fire everybody. And what they're going to do is they talk about, well, the studios of today are way too big, and the new studios are going to be one guy with a MacBook and a laptop. Everything's going to be on the cloud. There'll be no equipment in the studio. It'll just be a microphone and a laptop and a MacBook and or AirBook or whatever the heck they are. And that's going to be the studios of the future. And they're in the process of renegotiating all their leases to the point where they're going to, in most of their places where they have studios, they're going to get rid of most of their people and they're going to cut the studio space by, the amount of space they lease for their offices and studios by at least half, and their goal is to be into 25% of where they're at today. So in other words, the idea being is if they have 10,000 square feet, they want to have 2,500 square feet. And they're going to make, and it's going to cost them a little bit of money to downsize because they're going to have to renegotiate their leases, but they're going to save all this money because they're going to fire everybody, and they're just going to have like one guy who's going to do the morning show for, like Bobby Bones is going to be on all of their radio stations all over the country. So they'll only have one morning DJ, and they'll only have one afternoon guy, and they'll only have, and it'll all come out of New York. And it'll be like, hey, it'll be great. You'll love it. You're going to love this new iHeartRadio. So the Zimmers, good local broadcasters in Columbia, Missouri, employ lots of people, have nice studios down there, raising money for local charities. And iHeart can't wait to fire everybody. They've already fired a bunch of people here in St. Louis, Nick Porcelli and people like that. And they can't wait to fire people and move in little tiny places. So the tale of two broadcasters.
Little pink houses for you and me.
So which broadcaster do you like, Shelley, and which do you not like? I'm not asking you a loaded question. I'm just asking you.
I like Nick Cosmo.
He works for...
Or Cosmo Nick. Well, I call him both, but I just think he's a good soul.
But...
And from what I understand, he's an excellent DJ.
He is.
He is an excellent mic monkey.
He's the morning guy at Y107. Been there a long time. But what do you think
He actually helped me settle a bet Saturday.
I know, because I won. So what do you think about the fact that...
totally did not win,
yes,
and
what do you think about
it.
What do you think about the fact that what Pittman said?
I think that's a trend with the bigs.
But don't you think that's sad?
I think it's horrible.
Because of the fact that, and it's like
these are hardworking people, and they don't get paid as much as you think they do.
Well, the problem is that radio became successful because, for the most part, it was local. Each station had, and to a certain extent, Shelley called me out. That's why I'm on this radio station right this very minute. Shelley called me out.
How did I do that?
She called me a hypocrite.
Why did I call you a hypocrite?
You said because I'm always the guy saying, hey, local radio, and you said we should be more local. So that's how we ended up on the air, you and me. We talk about local stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, be us in the morning, Brad. Be us in the morning. It only took me a year.
We talk about local stuff. We talk about...
And I understand your... What's the word? Not apprehension, but your... I understand why it took you a while to come forth with BS in the morning.
Because I was afraid of you. That's what it was.
I know that. Most men are afraid of me, but you're afraid of me for a different reason.
No, the idea being is we get on here, we talk about local stuff. We talk about you being involved with Habitat for Humanity in St. Charles County. I talk about how, the girl who came from Italy, who came down at Amtrak, who's now in St. Louis, is going to, coronavirus is going to take us all over, especially if we live in West County and go to a fancy West County school. How a Boeing right here in St. Louis could fix the whole coronavirus thing if they just put their 737 Maxes in the air, and that would cure all the coronavirus. About how I was downtown yesterday morning, and
what'd you go downtown for?
I can't tell you. It was a secret project. You are right about one thing. And you go downtown.
What? I'm sorry. Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I said, you're right about nothing. I said...
That's not what you said.
That's what I said. Is that there is a certain energy in downtown St. Louis.
There really is.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, oh, gosh. Because Tiffany and I, we've had these tickets for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's downtown. Oh, I don't want to go downtown. Are they having a game out of, what? I mean, seriously, it's just... Sometimes when there's a game and it's just so crowded that it's just not yummy.
Well, it's like for me yesterday, like the energy. I get off eastbound 70, going up the Broadway exit right in North City. And as I go down the ramp, there's the homeless people camped out on the back of a building there. And then as I turned on the north side of the dome, a couple bullets ricocheted off my hood. I thought to myself,
that's not true.
Damn,
Stop it.
Damn, I love the city. Oh, there's so much energy in the city.
It's like the architecture. We actually parked by the St. Louis Public Library.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and there's nobody there because it's closed on Sundays.
And then we also parked by the Shell building. So Tiffany had to take a selfie with the Shell building.
Yeah, can you believe they made that building out of nothing but seashells? They ground them up, and that's what they made the concrete out of. That's why they call it the Shell building. Didn't you know that?
No, they don't call it the Shell building for that reason.
They
Stop
do. It's
it.
made up of ground up. They took
No, they
seashells.
call it the Shell building for Shell oil.
Hey, that's how that whole thing started.
What?
She sells seashells by the seashore, and they made the concrete out of that. That was the whole deal.
Whatever, Brad.
They did. They ground up those shells.
You know what I think is sad is they've got all those beautiful buildings, and they're either like redoing them or they're vacant, and they're just beautiful. It's beautiful architecture. Kind of like what Trump wants to do.
Right. He wants to make America beautiful again.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. And Joe Biden said yesterday, you believe it, Joe Biden said re-elect Donald Trump.
So is he still on the campaign trail?
Oh, Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He said, I'm telling you, the guy is like, he can't put two words together anymore. It's sort of sad.
Who, Joe Biden?
He says goofy stuff. That's all he does. Goofy
He
stuff.
does say goofy stuff. I mean, seriously, when you first played the I Have Hairy Legs that turned blonde in the sun,
Yeah?
I swear that you told me that was Bernie Sanders.
No, it was Joe
I'm like,
Biden.
surely that can't be Joe Biden.
Here, hold on a minute. Let me see if I can get it up. My computer. Oh, that sounds weird. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, here's our Joe Biden. Okay, here's one. Okay, here's another one. Here's another one. That was
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that was Bernie Sanders. I'm like, that cannot be Joe Biden.
No, Bernie Sanders.
And it was.
Bernie Sanders would talk about how we all need to not have any cars and we all
In the
need
lawn.
to and get off his lawn and that kind of stuff. That's what Bernie would say. Hey,
Yeah.
we have to take a break. We're way behind. It's all Shelley's fault. And
As it is usually.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you know what happened yesterday?
Mata?
No. I'm glad that Trump did this. They figured out that if we lost an hour yesterday, it would cure coronavirus. So yesterday we did the coronavirus, move your clock forward an hour. Did you do that?
I did. And look, it's 7:47.
And coronavirus is gone now. Westplex 107.1. What a great song that is. Alicia Keys, Underdog. That's how I've lived my life and still do. The underdog, yes. Nobody ever expects much out of me. And for the most part, that's what they get. Right, Shelley?
No, that's not completely true. You work hard. You are a hard-working man.
No. I'm just a lazy,
Oh, yes. If people
bum.
knew what went on behind the scenes,
Lazy bum.
they would be amazed at how much our packages are compared to what they actually get. And it's all because of you, Brad Hildebrand.
Me and Tulsi Gabbard, Tulsi, when she gets to be
You and
president,
Tulsi.
she's going to cure coronavirus. Matter of fact, she's already got the cure. She's got it. She's a woman of color. She's an Army major. I'm telling you, she's super attractive, which is why you should vote for her. According to Shelley, that's what Shelley keeps saying. I don't understand why that is. Shelley keeps saying you got to vote for her because she's really attractive. Okay, Shelley.
That's not what I said, and you know it, so stop it. I did not say that, everyone. He's being Brad.
No, she did
Yes.
say that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, here. Did you hear that? Joe said that.
I'm a lion, dog-faced pony soldier.
Once again, where does he come up with this stuff? And what's crazy about it is, did you also hear that he said that he was arrested in South Africa?
Huh?
Yeah. I'm going like, okay, I love this guy. He makes stuff up. I would never do that. I would never make anything up. I would never say that the 737 Maxes would cure coronavirus. I would never say that. But Joe would say things like that he got arrested at some civil rights march down in South Africa, and which he never did. But yet he says he did. So I guess it's true. Now, Tulsi Gabbard would never say that. Tulsi Gabbard would never say that. And Tulsi Gabbard doesn't have 3 houses either. She just has 1. So that's why you should vote for her.
Have you been stalking this woman?
I feel bad for her because, once again, the press keeps saying, well, it's down to Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And I'm going like, no, hold on a minute now. Tulsi Gabbard, she hasn't gotten out. She's not ducked out like everybody else, like Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg. I mean, she's still in it, and yet they ignore her. Why? Because she's an attractive woman from Hawaii.
Okay.
You don't believe me, do you?
So you think it's a jealousy thing?
I do. I think that all the news anchors on Fox don't like her because she has black hair. Because if you're
not true.
It's true. If you're a news anchor on Fox and you're a woman, you have to be blonde and you have to have great legs. And Tulsi has great legs, but she's got black hair, so they don't like her because of the fact that she's got black hair. So she's been blackballed because she has black hair. That's why they don't like her. That's why they don't talk about her.
I really don't think that's the reason.
I got this all figured out, Shelley. Come on.
I know you do. In Brad's world, it is all figured out. In Shelley world,
I heard.
It's not on Facebook, so it's not true.
You know who Kurt Barr is?
I did. I saw him on Saturday.
Okay. I heard him do a radio interview last night, okay? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this has gotten crazy. He talked about, because he's the head of elections for St. Charles County now, right?
Yeah.
He talked about how they went out and they bought hand sanitizer for people to vote on Tuesday, and that, you have to, they sign you in on an iPad now. Have you done this since the new voting where you sign in on an iPad?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And he said, I swear he said this. I'm not making this up. Uh-huh. He said, bring your own stylus.
Okay.
So you don't have.
That's a promotional thing.
So you don't have.
So what they could do is somebody that really wants to, get the word out about their business.
Right.
Is get those stylus pens and give them to all the locations to vote.
He was actually saying to cut down on the possibility of spreading the coronavirus, that you should bring your own stylus if you vote in St. Charles County. And if you use the touch screen system, that you should, what did he say? Use your knuckle. And that if you use the paper ballot...
Because knuckles are much more clean than your fingertips.
I don't know. And you should bring your own black pen. I'm going like, okay, come on now. Is this guy for real or what? And he talks about how they bought they brought, for each of the polling places in St. Charles County, will have a big supply of hand
sanitizer?
Hand sanitizer and antibacterial wipes.
Well, that's good on them. Oh, by the way, on Saturday, it was the St. Charles County Government Expo at Mid Rivers Mall Drive on the lower level in Central Court.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. I went there and I found out a lot.
Well, you know what?
What?
I was going to go, but I said to myself,
you were too busy knee deep in your car doing the work of 2 men.
That's what I had. I had bronchitis.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's 8 o'clock straight up.
Do you think when I cut the show up this morning, do you think we'll be banned on YouTube again like we were on Friday?
I don't know. Nothing. Everything's open.
It's 8:01. Shelley just sniffled on the air. Westplex 107.
I did. It was a sniffle air.
And you know what you just did, don't you?
No.
coronavirus was sniffled through the microphone and it's now being transmitted all over St. Charles County. Oh, my God. They're going to have to fly those 737 Maxes over there to clean all the viruses out.
You just had to finish the day out with that, didn't you? You could not control yourself whatsoever in the least, could you?
Again, I have a journalism degree. Everything that comes out of my mouth is the truth, the whole truth, and the absolute truth. I mean, I'm telling you. Here's what I do. I tell you important information that you need to know. Shelley, what does Shelley tell you? That's the difference. That's the difference between Shelley and I. I'm giving you coronavirus stuff.
Yeah, and he gives you blah, 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 blah.
And when you ask...
I give you... well, we both know that that's not true. Sometimes I don't even know why I talk to you. Oh, Brad, it's 8:05. These people need to get on with their day and not worry about the coronavirus. Yeah, that says bronchitis, not coronavirus. Yeah. So do you think that he's really... Oh, do that one again. Smash, Sir Smashington.
What were you
just gotta love that man.
What were you going to ask me again?
I forgot.
You're going to ask me about Joe Biden.
Oh, is it true that he's kind of getting forgetful?
He was here in St. Louis saying re-elect Donald Trump. I mean, how bizarre is that?
What was that in context to, though?
Who knows? I mean, he made some crazy, weird statement, and it's funny because Trump actually took part of the video and said, thanks, Joe Biden, you've said it all. And I mean, he said, re-elect Donald Trump. That's what he said. He said, re-elect Donald Trump. That would be like, if I were, if I owned the baseball Cardinals and me saying like, hey, we want the Yankees to win the World Series every year. People go, what? You own the Cardinals. Yeah, but we want those. We all know the Yankees are the better team. We want the Yankees to win every year. Right?
Oh, yeah. No, not really.
Did you?
Everybody have a great day. It's the first Monday of the week. We're actually in the middle of the week. So my birthday weekend's over, so you don't have to worry about that. No cards, no gifts. I'm all good. And Brad has had just a little slice of heaven today, haven't you, Brad?
A little slice of heaven because of the fact that we figured out all the things that are going to cure the coronavirus.
We did, and good, whatever, Brad. It's 8:08. We need to say goodbye.
Shelley, are you frustrated with me this morning?
Tad.
And now the most important man in St. Charles County steps at the microphone and says...